California, the ocean rim of North America, was the last stop for the great white horde of westward roaming Indo-Europeans, whose restlessness makes half of history. You stand on the boardwalk at Santa Monica or on a bluff above the beach at Point Reyes Station, and you think this is where it ended, the enormous trek westward that began when the tribes fragmented in bits and pieces off the top of the Indian subcontinent and started that strangely compulsive walk west, through Western Asia, becoming the Scythian horse people, across the Balkans, seeping down into Greece, and then down the Italian peninsula. And the ones who lingered became Rome, with the creation of civilizations being almost an afterthought to the energy of this migration. And over centuries, millennia, they cover a swath of Western Europe the size of a people, and they founded another civilization with Gothic heaven-thrusting spires and the sound of bells and the smell of burning pyres. And they come to the edge of the sea and mill about on the shore till another spasm of wanderlust leaps the channel and begins to fill Britain. And in another millennium or so, that's not enough. And because they cannot stand still, they are compelled to face their greatest challenge, the stormy moat of the Atlantic. And they do it. They cross the ocean. They crush the indigenes again. They claim and populate a continent vaster and much richer than the steppes of Asia where the trek began. And they work and kill, creating huge wealth, huge misery, and then they come to the end. On this shore, having gone to the farthest west, so far that they are now looking east, another ocean crossing will bring them back to where they began. Only this time, for a complex of reasons, they stop. The western frontier, which had called them irresistibly for 3,000 or 4,000 years, is finally closed. The eternal west, which had troubled their sleep and drawn out their best and worst, but always kept them moving, is no more. And Western man, out of India by way of Anatolia and Macedon and Athens and Rome and Gaul and Albion and the United States of America, is forced to reflect. For the first time, some of them begin to wonder, what have we come this way for? And so a change begins on the periphery. The great migration turns inward. And the thought splashes back from the Pacific edge, washes back east through the continent behind them, through all their people, now settled. The questions that are forming in the West begin to unsettle the people again, this time for no migration you can trace on a map. They have arrived at the place where the story will be transformed or reach its disastrous end. In the dream life of these tribes, from the Kurgan steppe to Omaha, Nebraska, was the idea that in the West lay the earthly paradise, a place of undying bliss or incalculable riches, and this goad had pricked them into new migration and new conquest again and again. So when they finally come to the ultimate earthly West, the Pacific coast of the Americas, and there is no more West to give their restlessness a goal, they are on shaky ontological ground. A question occurs to some of them. Might they, in fact, finally be there? Having come in one sense to the end of history, of their history at least, have they come back around to myth again? Have they come to that place in the story when images from the deepest past are realized as present reality? Have they, in fact, achieved the goal of their endless striving, if they could only see it? Achieved Tirnanog, Avalon, the Hesperides, the terrestrial paradise, High Brazil, the Fortunate Isles? And if so, what would that mean exactly? What happens when history runs aground on myth? The idea that paradise has been regained has been a theme of travelers' tales about California from the start. And so the spiritual history of California is one of utopias, sects and cults, new religious movements that declared the split between heaven and earth, myth and history, reconciled. The unstable condition of the West Coast's population has correlated since the 1920s with two measurable phenomena.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.